Welcome to Asian American Life. I'm your host, Ernabel Demillo. We're at the Brooklyn Museum where they have reopened the long-anticipated Arts of Asia galleries. It took several years for the museum to overhaul their collection of Asian art representing China, Korea, and Japan. Today, they have one of the oldest and most extensive collections of works, dating back to 2000 BC and ending with the 21st century. In addition to arts, we'll take a look at Asian Americans who are rising stars in entertainment and the culinary arts. We'll have their stories next, but first, here's a look at what's ahead. Blue's Clues is back, and I meet the new star of the show. Rayner Ramirez profiles New York's Media and Entertainment Commissioner, Anne Del Castillo. Spam alert. How did an American meat icon become popular with Asian top chefs? Kyung Yoon has the story. And the toast of the town. Minnie Roh reports on the rise of Asian American sommeliers. This and more on Asian American Life. One of Nick Jr.'s most popular children's shows is back on TV, and they have a whole new look and a new host.
Oh, hi. Hey, come on in. Blue, look who's here. It's our friend.
Meet Blue's new friend, Josh Dela Cruz.
Hi, Josh. Hi, Blue. We're on a treasure hunt.
As a kid, I never thought in a million years that I would be on TV or that I would be working on a show as prolific as Blue's Clues.
Blue's Clues is back for the next generation of preschoolers. The show debuted back in 1996 and ran for 6 seasons.
Blue's Clues, Blue's Clues.
It quickly became one of TV's most popular children's shows, sometimes beating Sesame Street and Barney in the ratings. For the reboot, the producers held an open casting call, attracting thousands who used to watch the show as children.
We are trying to find the new host for Blue's Clues, best friend of Blue, somebody who can connect to the camera and be the new voice for the new generation.
Blue's Clues. Blue's Clues.
Blue's Clues.
That voice would turn out to be Dela Cruz.
I was with the company, Broadway company of Aladdin, I think about 5 years at this point, and I loved my job. I loved the people that I was working with, most importantly, and I loved doing the show. But I still found myself wanting more, where I could help someone, I could help people, but still using the gifts and the skills that I had learned and acquired along my journey so far as an actor.
When you got the call that you were now going to be, Blue's pal, did you realize that you were making history?
No, absolutely not.
Blue's new partner in solving mysteries is a New Jersey native, born and bred, who was inspired to get into theater by watching, well, you guessed it, Blue's Clues.
I started singing because of the show, because of Mail Time, I would watch the show with my little sister, and she'd play the games out loud. I would play in my head. But when Mail Time was on, that's what we did. We sang Mail Time.
After college, he starred in off-Broadway shows, including The King and I with Lou Diamond Phillips and Here Lies Love. Most recently, Dela Cruz starred in Aladdin, even playing the title role for a few weeks. He's part of a close-knit group of Filipino-American actors and singers who have starred in many shows together.
I've been so fortunate along my journey to have people that are peers and teachers. We have to help each other. If we want to move forward, it's all together or no one at all.
His passion was theater. TV, in fact, was not on his radar.
I never thought that I would be in film and television because I never really saw that kind of representation in a way that I connected with. With one exception, and he's like a god in my eyes, Dante Vasco, playing Rufio. Oh my gosh, and I watched it today, and it's still heartbreaking. He's amazing, and he has nothing to do with him being Filipino.
One day, Asian and Filipino actors may say the same about Dela Cruz. His casting and the return of Blue's Clues, now called Blue and You, made headlines. The original host, Steve, and his brother are back in the first episode to pass the torch to their cousin Josh.
Steve! Joe! So, what's going on?
So I hear you're Steve's cousin?
Yes, I'm Steve's cousin.
You know, because everyone has a Filipino cousin.
Everybody has a Filipino cousin, that's right.
And Blue is back with all her pals and favorite characters like the thinking chair and the handy-dandy notebook.
Maybe I should call my cousins on my handy-dandy notebook. Check it out. Notebook on one side, phone on the other.
Okay, so newsflash, you mean
Yeah.
the handy-dandy notebook now
Yeah.
is a smartphone?
Yes. So
Breaking news.
It's breaking news, folks. But the handy dandy notebook still has our classic yellow pages. We still have a blue crayon this time because we have Team Blue. And but on the other side is a smartphone. They know we can't ignore this. Kids have access to a touchscreen in their everyday life. And so how do we take advantage of that and make it something that's good? And where they can access our show as well.
And thanks to social media, Dela Cruz became an internet sex symbol before the show even debuted.
You were also trending on Twitter and social media. Was that a surprise when you saw that happen?
Oh, it was very much a surprise. Like I woke up, because I go to sleep pretty early and I wake up pretty early for filming. And I woke up, my phone had blown up, and I was like, my sister was like, is everything okay? What's going on? I turn it on, I got morning eyes, I'm still like in the dark. And they're like, have you seen this? And I scroll through, and then I see this picture, and then I see like the Twitter headlines, and I'm like, no! It's so flattering.
Dela Cruz takes it all in stride. After all, there are mysteries to be solved, so get out your handy-dandy notebook.
To make a debut on television, you know, and I work day player stuff, but to do something like this at this scale and to have so many people that care about the show, not just coming back, but coming back to help kids, that is something that I never thought I'd ever be a part of. So I'm so fortunate, and I can't wait for people to see it.
I'm Ernabel Demillo for Asian American Life.
You can do anything that you wanna do. Ooh.
The film and TV business is a multi-billion-dollar industry in New York City, and almost every single production on these streets has to pass through the Mayor's Office of Media and Entertainment. Commissioner Anne Del Castillo was appointed earlier this year, making her the first Filipino-American to hold the post. New York City is one of the world's most iconic backdrops in film and television. From the very first movie ever filmed in New York City in 1896, called Herald Square, the city that never sleeps has a reputation.
It's up to you, New York, New York, New York.
And movies are being made here more than ever. The film and TV industry contributes nearly $9 billion and over 130,000 jobs to New York City's economy.
New York City really appreciates and embraces is this thriving cultural, creative economy. That we really value the creative process here in New York. I think it's what makes New York City stand out.
Commissioner Anne Del Castillo runs the New York City Mayor's Office of Media and Entertainment. When Mayor John Lindsay opened the office in 1966, it became the first of its kind around the world to provide a one-stop permits office for productions seeking to film in public spaces in New York City. Since Del Castillo was appointed commissioner earlier this year, the Mayor's Office for Media and Entertainment has expanded its umbrella. In addition to TV and film, the office oversees New York City's $21 billion music industry, the theater, and now nightlife. But film and television production is one of the fastest growing industries. Production has more than doubled in New York since 2014. This year alone, 67 TV shows were filmed in New York City, from period pieces like The Marvelous Miss Maisel to comedies like Master of None.
The increase in content production is because of the demands for content. Streaming has completely revolutionized the way that we consume media.
The commissioner says production is drawn to the city because of the talent pool and local businesses.
You know, in addition to the creative talent and the technical talent that we have here, the other thing is we have a tremendous base of support in the way of financial and legal services, other industries that really know how to support the media and entertainment sector. What I think is great about New York City being a television town is its consistent, continuous work.
Del Castillo knows television. She worked her way up through the industry. Her first job in TV was at one of the longest-running made-in-New York productions, Sesame Street.
To where the air is free. Can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street?
So today we are honoring Carol Spinney, who is the voice behind Big Bird and Oscar the Grouch. It was a particularly moving moment for me because I grew up on Sesame Street. You know, Sesame Street was one of the first places where you could see urban culture reflected.
Del Castillo grew up in New York City, raised by a single mom, an immigrant from the Philippines.
She was part of that wave of nurses that came over in the 60s, and she raised me here in New York City on her own. Typically, when you're the child of a nurse, they expect you to either be a nurse. I mean, maybe I would have been a medical professional. My foray into this world of media and entertainment was actually quite serendipitous.
It was also by chance she would get to work on the Sundance award-winning documentary about the First Lady of the Philippines, Imelda. The film's director, Ramona Diaz, brought her on as an associate producer.
And so I got to go to the Philippines with her. I did all of the archival research. It was a tremendous opportunity, and it was a great opportunity for me to also access some of the Filipino culture that I'd missed out on growing up.
Del Castillo admits she lucked into the industry, and the commissioner wants to change the odds for other New Yorkers like herself. This year, they launched the Women's Fund, a program designed to promote the work of female filmmakers. The agency also has a workforce training program for production and post-production. Recently, they launched Media Makers, a new initiative aimed at grooming young talent.
We've partnered with RealWorks, CUNY, and the Department of Education, and the idea is to train young people in media production so that they can move on to get jobs in production.
The commissioner says production will only continue to increase as consumers demand all sorts of media.
I think we're going to start to see more immersive experiences, more interactive entertainment, and so we just need to continue to anticipate where the growth opportunities are because it's a very important industry for New York.
For Asian American Life, this is Rayner Ramirez.
Nails can take a personality of their own. Tinabeth Pina introduces us to the Queen of Bling.
I feel so fabulous with these nails. Like, as soon as I step out of here, somebody's gonna mention them. They're gonna be like, oh my goodness, where did you get those done? And I'm always like, Jenny at Nails on 7th.
Jenny Bowie, aka the Queen of Bling, is the owner of Jenny's Spa in the Bronx and Nails on 7th Avenue in Harlem. And she is the go-to luxury nail artist in the city.
I've been doing this for a long time, and all my customers, they're in love with my nails. A lot of order can do, but it don't last. I create the bling. It lasts so long. It lasts like 3 to 5 weeks, sometimes 2 months. Sometimes my customer come like 2 months and a half, and my customer come from all over the world.
Her most famous client is Grammy Award-winning artist Cardi B, and having nails like Cardi is more affordable than you think.
Woo! You have to ask the customer what is their budget and how they can afford to pay. You cannot charge everybody the same price. For me, don't judge people like you poor, you rich, or you celebrity. I take everybody because I want to give everybody a chance to try me.
Jenny's most requested shapes are stiletto and coffin styles. And believe it or not, she's a self-taught nail artist.
Was it easy to be self-taught? You learned how to do nails on your own.
It's hard. I learning until my hand all bleeding because I have to use a machine over and over every day, practice on your own hand. Because back then nobody teach you how to do nail, and you have to learn yourself. So you have a starry hand. You have to pay attention. The gel or the glue don't hit the bling, because the gel and the glue hit the bling, and the bling is not shine no more.
Jenny also teaches nail art classes in the city, so you too can learn how to get your own bling on.
And every time I teach, they learn so much and they love it. I'm not like some of the nail artists. They teach, they charge people so much money and they teach only like 2-3 designs. Me, I teach, I want to show them all my design.
So whether it's taking a class or coming to one of her salons, the queen of bling reigns supreme.
I feel so good. Like, I feel it's not because the money. I feel like whenever they come to me, I make them so happy. Some of the customer cry. Some of the customer, oh my God, Jenny, I cannot believe I have nail like this in my life.
For Asian American Life, I'm Tinabeth Pina.
I'm Kyung Yoon. Ever since the Hormel Foods Corporation produced its first can of Spam in 1937, it's come to symbolize a quick and cheap way to get meat on the table. But now some Asian American chefs are embracing Spam and bringing it into mainstream dining. Chung Chow is the chef at Noreetuh, a popular East Village restaurant in New York City that celebrates the flavors of Hawaii.
I think overall Hawaiian food is very approachable. It has many influences from Asia, especially Japan, Korea, China, the Philippines, even Portugal, because of all the people who came to Hawaii.
And one ingredient that consistently shows up in this melting pot of culinary cultures, a budget-friendly canned meat made in Minnesota.
Spam, 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 spam. Hormel's new miracle meat in a can.
So Spam has always been a part of anyone who lives in Hawaii. It's kind of interwoven into the community, into the food, into the scene. Anywhere you go is always Spam.
It was during World War II that Spam went global, becoming a military staple with more than 100 million cans shipped out to the Pacific to feed U.S. troops. And wherever American soldiers were stationed, Spam followed to Hawaii, Guam, the Philippines, and Korea.
Obviously, I was born in Korea, and Spam was one of those delicacies that I've had growing up.
Jin An remembers one of his favorite meals was 부대찌개, which literally means army-based stew, made with Spam simmered with kimchi, tofu, and ramen noodles.
Kimchi and Spam is always going to be a great combination. Kimchi is going to be nice and salty, a little spicy, but acidic, refreshing, whereas Spam's going to be salty and meaty. Put them together all in rice, it's a wonderful combination.
And despite its complicated legacy, a dish like budae-jjigae, born out of war and poverty, remains a popular staple with modern Koreans. In fact, South Korea is the biggest consumer of Spam in the world after the United States, and gift boxes of Spam are popular presents exchanged at holiday times. And in the U.S., chefs like Chung Chow, who is classically trained in French cuisine and has worked in Michelin-starred restaurants like Per Se, are drawing on their roots to include and elevate Spam as an ingredient.
I actually had some doubts in the beginning. We actually even took some time to actually introduce Spam to the menu. Our first approach was to ground it up and added some rice, potatoes, and made it into a filling for a pasta. So that was our first introduction of Spam to the menu, our Spam agnolotti.
When you think about that, you're combining one of the most expensive ingredients and one of those ingredients that every fine dining goers really cherish and love and will spend a lot of money on, and blending it together with Spam.
And I think people are gaining more acceptance for the product. Personally, for us, we felt more confident in offering that item because people have accepted us for who we are.
And Spam promises to remain a staple of American food culture, and like all of us, to keep evolving over time. I'm Kyung Yoon for Asian American Life.
I'm Minnie Roh. Wine is not typically associated with Asian countries or cuisine, but in reality, Asia is a fast-growing market when it comes to wine production and consumption, and many wines are a perfect match for Asian food. This is paving the way for an increasing number of Asian American sommeliers who are overcoming industry stereotypes and bringing their distinctive and unique palates to the table.
So the first one is actually an aligote.
On any given day, you can find Ana Cabrales pouring wine for her discerning customers at Morrell, a wine bar in the world-renowned Rockefeller Center in the heart of New York City.
I don't know of too many other Asian female Filipina sommeliers on the floor. I really don't.
Cabrales has been a sommelier for nearly a decade, yet she says she is still greeted by some who are skeptical about her wine knowledge because she's female and Asian.
And sometimes the reaction can be like, oh, you're the sommelier. Then it's just kind of like, well, do you have any knowledge about wine whatsoever?
Rather than taking offense, Cabrales says she uses this as an opportunity to open her customers' minds to the diverse world of wine, from who's pouring it to how it's evolving from a traditionally Western beverage to one that knows no boundaries.
Wine has just never really been like an integral part at the dinner table, especially in Asian cuisine. It's only happening now, especially with all of these new restaurants and, again, talent coming into the field, dining becoming like this luxury thing that everyone wants to be a part of.
Historically, domesticated grapevines can trace its origins to an area known as the Fertile Crescent as far back as 7000 BC. The ancient Phoenicians were instrumental in spreading wine throughout their extensive trade network. But the oldest alcoholic beverage known to mankind originated in China around 9000 BC, a drink called grog, made of fermented rice and beeswax.
China and much of Asia had a history of fermenting rice in the temperate zones, but sorghum and millet and cereal grains as opposed to the grape, although it was around.
Master Sommelier Scott Carney, who is Dean of Wine Studies at the International Culinary Center, explains that because there was an established alcoholic beverage in Asia already, there was less incentive to produce grape wine in the region. Religion also played a big role in where and how wine made its way around the world.
It becomes part of Christianity, and when you think about it, the way in which it came to the Americas and colonizing Mexico and South America, it was part and parcel of the sacrament, and also it was needed.
Today, Asia is fast emerging as a wine-producing market, with vineyards of note in India and China, where they have devoted over 2 million acres to viticulture, second only to Spain in size. China is also ranked as the 5th largest consumer of wine and is projected to become the world's second most valuable wine market after the U.S. by 2020. Carney points to the number of Asian students at ICC's sommelier training program as a testament to the increasing diversity in the industry. Cabrales, who is an alum of ICC, says her Filipina upbringing played a major role in developing her wine palate.
We have some of the best palates, I'd like to say, very sensitive palates, just simply because of what we grew up with. Very complex flavors, foreign ingredients, finding things that relate in wine that you're like, oh, wait a minute, this tastes like a fruit that I've had in the Philippines.
So I put her palate to the test with Japanese sushi, Korean bulgogi and kimchi, and spicy Indian vindaloo.
You want to find wines that will highlight what it is that you'd like to enhance out of the dish. Should it be the vegetables on the dish, the spice, the savoriness of it? You don't want wines that will overpower like the entire dish, especially like the nuance that you find in there.
For sushi, Anna poured a German rosé and the latest trend in wine, the Vinny, vin as in the French word for wine, and NY because it's made in the Finger Lakes region of New York.
Certain things should just start to pop out from the dish. And maybe even like the sugars that were like incorporated in the rice.
Bulgogi and kimchi.
We're gonna do an aged Italian wine.
Italian.
1997, coming from Friuli. Wow. This is wild. Whoa. That's brilliant. It's almost like this feeling of like sweet soy coming out.
Then our most challenging dish, the Indian vindaloo.
There's spice and you need to calm it down, and you want something that has, again, a little bit of like a sweet edge to it.
That's spicy. Oh, that's spicy.
Whoa, that's really spicy.
Relief came in the form of a rosé champagne called La Caravelle.
That's really nice.
Right?
I would never have thought to put champagne with Indian food.
Oh, it's a beautiful match. Absolutely.
Yeah.
As everyone's taste buds are different, Cabrales says the key to success is to keep an open mind and experiment. I'll drink to that.
Thank you for taking us on this
Thank
culinary
you.
adventure.
This was so much fun. Let's do it again soon.
I'm Minnie Roh with Asian American Life.
That's our show for now. If you want more information, be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Asian American Life. And be sure to check out the Arts of Asia galleries right here at the Brooklyn Museum. I'm Ernabel Demillo. We'll see you next time.